Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Banky Pound here with me today. How you doing, Banky?
I'm doing great, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to take a few seconds out to say hello to all of our followers, friends, family, and supporters who are tuning in, coming into the building for this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, this story means a lot to me. I've seen a little bit of Banky's journey, and I'm very happy that he took time out of his schedule to be here with us today because he's going viral. He's done something in his own way that many people have not been able to do. What's going on with me? I'm drinking this stuff here, palm juice. Anybody ever drink that? Hey, this stuff is strong, man. I find myself needing a cup of water after I drink this stuff, but I like it. It's good, man. That's what's going on with me. Banky Pound, where you from?
I'm from DC, but by way of Virginia. I'm reside in Virginia right now.
Okay. Oh, you from DC?
Absolutely.
Did you spend any time growing up there?
Yes, I did. I went to school there. I went to high school there.
Okay. What was it like for you growing up in DC?
Oh, it was an adventure. It was an adventure all the time in DC, you know, especially from down here in Virginia. It's a lot slower down here. In DC, it was a little fast, man. You know, I'm 54, so you're talking about I was going to school back in the 80s. So, you know, it was a whole different time back there. You know, at the time that I was growing up, you know, DC was the murder capital of the world. So it was dangerous. Yeah, it was a dangerous place to be. But when you're in the midst of it and you're growing up in it, it's all you know. So it's normality to you. So it was normal to me. But from the outside looking in, you know, other people will have a different opinion. But it was just normal life for me. But I loved it up there myself.
Did your family grow up there as well? You had several generations right there in the DC area?
Yeah, my family is generation is between DC and Virginia. A lot of them in Virginia, half of them in Virginia, half of them in DC.
Mm-hmm. You got siblings?
Yes, I have a brother and two sisters. Older sister and a younger brother, younger sister.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we got people coming in here today. We got Nicole Small. We see you, Rose Hensley, Crystal Waters, Yolanda Riley.
Crystal Waters. That's one of the team. Banky Pounds. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah. This is how you start the new year off.
Absolutely.
You know? With this level of support, wrapping around somebody who is here doing a positive thing.
Yeah.
Now, what was your relationship like with your siblings growing up?
Oh, we was cool, man. We was always cool. Right now, you know, I actually live with my youngest sister, you know, and my older sister is like one of my best friends. And my brother, you know, me and him is tight too. He's my younger brother, but we cool, man. I always had a good relationship with my family. My family bond always been strong. Mm-hmm. Always been strong.
So you grew up in an era where that was the name of the game, was close-knit family. That's the way you live, right?
Yeah, man. You know, I had a mom, you know, my father had passed away when I was young, but he was never really like, you know, in my life. So it was always my mom was my father and my mother, and had us four, man, and she raised us and did everything, man. So, you know, when she was at work, man, we was always together. So we was together a lot. So we had to be close, you know, we had to be tight, you know, so it was beautiful.
When you have a mother who is also performing the role of the father, she tends to say some things out of her mouth that you will never forget.
Absolutely. And my mom was no joke. Trust me when I tell you. She meant what she said and said what she meant, you know.
Did she say anything to you that you still remember to this day?
Oh yeah, you know, the classic. You know, I brought you in this world and I'll take you out.
That's a classic. Hey, if y'all have any of those classic comments from your parents, drop them in the comments. We're gonna be putting those on the screen today. You're right, that is a classic. You got any other classics for us?
Oh yeah. She said, when you think you get too big for me, that you can't listen to what I say, I stand up on the table and knock you out.
Right.
Yeah, she won't plan, man.
Yeah.
I'm scared of her today. That's the only human being I'm scared of to this day.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing like the respect, the respect in all different forms that you develop for your mother.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, when you really think about it, sometimes it's not even fear, it's respect.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and fear in a lot of ways is a form of respect. It's even a more powerful form of respect to me because
Right.
you know you fear them because you respect them. You know, so that adds a little bit more to it. And my mother, like I say, I knew that she always had my best interest at heart. I may not like the message, I may not like how she delivered it, but I always knew it was coming from a place of love, and I respected that, and I still do to this day.
You know, I think that's something that the world has yet to figure out. How we intrinsically know that somebody has our best interest at heart.
Yeah.
You know,
I got a little theory about that too because I used to later on when I was in prison, as I got down the line, I was in prison. I used to, you know, be a motivational speaker in there as well. And I used to speak to the dudes a lot. And I used to always tell the younger dudes that, man, that, you know, we tend to listen to the people in the street more so than we listen to the people that in our household. And I think we do that because we tend to think in our mind that, oh, they just talking, I don't know what they're talking about. And then we go out in the street and we listen to people, but then we don't realize that the people that's in our household is the one who has our best interests at heart. So what they're telling us is coming from a place of love, but we're not receiving it like that. We're receiving it as is they nitpicking or they hassling us or they hounding us. But in actuality, they just trying to make us have the best and smoothest life as possible. So, you know,
in our reality, in our reality, we do fall for that trick, don't we?
all the time, man, all the
We
time.
we fall for the trick of thinking what is taught to me, what is said to me in my house could just be taken for granted.
Right.
You know, I can take it and I can store it deep in the annexes of my mind or deep in the annexes of my heart, but I can walk straight outside and listen to what Robert says and do what he asked me to do right away.
Right, right. And we feel like, you know, we looking at them like, okay, well, they know what they're doing. Or, oh, yeah, well, you know, our parents, they don't know what they talk. Nah, it's the opposite. It's the
Yeah.
opposite. They do know. They've been there. They've done that or they've seen that. So they do know. And they're trying to guide us away from that. You know, when somebody done been down the road and they know it's a dead end and they see you going down that road and they stop you and tell you, hey, it's a dead end down there. It's up to you to listen or not. You know, it's up to you to listen, but they're telling you because they've been there. So you have to always look at the source of where this information is coming from, in your household or on the street. And you weigh that out, man, and you get older, you can see it. But when you're younger, man, it's like you got such a cloud over your eyes that you just can't see the truth, man, no matter how easy and how well it's presented to you.
That's right. And it's not always whether or not we have a father in the house either. I know people who did have a father in the house and they still went outside and listen to what people said outside the house. So I think it's something about, you know, our desire to go out there and figure things out for ourselves that we simply can't get away from. And it's just a shame that the world out there is so toxic.
Right, right. You know, and you got people out there that you will go out there and you will listen to and you will think that they know what they're talking about and that they really rock with you, they really mess with you. But you will find out easily that that's not the case. Soon as the trouble arises, you will find out that that's not the case. And that's the most ironic part about it all is when we don't listen to our household and the stuff that's coming out of there, and we go out and we get in trouble and we do something that we ain't got no business doing, following and listening to other people. The first person we call is the people who we didn't listen to anyway.
Right.
We call right back home.
Yeah. How many times did you actually find somebody outside of your true inner circle that was telling you the truth, that was really telling you the right thing to do when you were younger?
Oh man, very few, man.
Very few.
Very few. Unfortunately, I probably ran across maybe one or two, and to be honest, it fell on deaf ears as well.
Yeah.
Looked at it, you know, and perceived it as being too, you know, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. Or,
Right.
you know, and we do that, and that's something that we really got to get away from. We got to get away from always wanting to hear the negative and always wanting to believe the negative instead of believing the positive. We don't want to believe the positive, but we don't want to believe the good stuff people telling us because we don't want to put the work in that goes along with it. You know, it takes work. You know, give you the positive stuff. It takes work.
You know, let's break that down. And before we even do that, my grandmother dropped a classic in there too. She said, "Curiosity killed the cat."
All the time. All the time.
You know? Yes. When you talk about people telling us what we should do, but we just not listening. Why do you see us doing that? Why are we doing that?
It's kind of hard to figure out, man. I did a lot of reading as well, and philosophy was one of my main things that I read. And I read this one, you know, and that's how I really learned. I self-educated myself, and I learned by hearing and reading profound things, and then I analyze it and I study it and I just keep it in my brain and I go over and over until I get something out of it that I can comprehend and make sense out of it. But I remember hearing a quote that says, you know, almost everybody needs advice, but very few people want it, you know. And what it is people don't want to believe what you're telling them unless they already got a preconceived notion that you're saying something that agree with what they want to believe. But if you say something to them that they don't want to believe, then they tend not to even want to hear it. But it could be the truth, and it could be what they need. But being that it don't coincide with what they already thinking or what they already want, then they don't want to receive it, you know. And that's where we be at when we be hearing stuff from the people who love us or the good stuff. We don't want to hear that because we know that takes work or that don't coincide with our plan. If they tell us, well, look, you need to go to school and you need to do this and do that so you can have this. But we're looking at that like that's too much work, that's hard, but that's what you need to do, you know. And one of my biggest quotes was, and I've learned this, I didn't know this when I was younger, but one of my biggest quotes now that I say to people is success. Everybody wants success, but you cannot take the elevator to success because it's fast, and the faster you go up, you'll come back down. You have to take the stairs to success. That's right. Way you earned it, you got it. Can't nobody take it away from you. You can't take the elevator to success. You have to take the stairs, man.
That's right. You know, accountability is a big word that we need to come to terms with, you know, at a young age. I think that we need programs, we need conversations, and we need seminars to teach us about the importance of accountability. The fact that, you know, there's work that you're going to have to do in order to become a successful adult. Nobody else could do that work for you.
Right.
There's no shortcuts. That's another classic. I was told don't ever take shortcuts.
That's
you never know. You never know who or what is in that shortcut.
Right. Right. And when you take the shortcut or cheating, it's the same thing. Shortcut and cheating. You're only shortcutting and cheating yourself. If I cheat off of your paper in school, I'm only cheating myself. You know the answers. I don't. Right. You know, so I'm only hurting myself. It appears that I'm getting over, but I'm actually hurting myself because when push comes to shove, you already know the answers and I don't. Mm-hmm. So I took the shortcut, but I only shortcutted myself because when it comes time that I need to know this, I'm not going to know it. The person that I cheated off of already knows. But, you know, like I said, these are the things, what you just said, you touched on something real important that I believe too, you know, like I said about these seminars and teaching these younger people these type of things. I believe that is without a doubt when you 12, 13, whatever, you know right from wrong. And you know that these things out here are wrong that you may, you know, encounter or get involved in. But I believe what's missing is the accountability. I don't believe that people are actually telling them the consequence. You know, a lot of times our parents tell us don't do this. And we say, why? This is a classic as well. We say, why? They say, because I said so. But instead of saying because I said so, explain to them the consequences. Explain to them the ramifications of why they should not. And I think they will understand that a lot more opposed to just saying because I said so. You know, you have to explain to a person why not to do something so they can see. Because you got young people out there, as crazy as it may seem, they're doing things that they know is wrong, but they had no idea what can happen to them if everything went wrong. You know, and that's what changes everything. You're not going to tell a 16, 17-year-old kid when they out here, these gangs and everybody telling them, oh, yeah, he do this, he do that, oh, shoot him. okay, he thinking, okay, well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And oh, you get in trouble, you be you get a year or two or whatever. Nah, if you tell him and let him actually know, no, you shoot him, what if he died? You may go to prison for 30, 40 years. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it, but no one is telling them that. They're giving false information, and that's what's being missed, man, that false information. And that's another quote, misinformed people misinform people.
Wow. That's another one.
Yeah, misinform people, and it continues, man. So we got to do exactly what you said, man. We got to have more seminars. We got to have more open conversation, more open dialogue for these young people, man, so we can try to stop them from falling into these same traps that I fell into and millions of more young men fell into.
You know what? I like the way that Rashad Smalls is dropping classics into the chat. He says, never drink and drive. That's a classic.
Absolutely.
Veronica, a few minutes ago, she said that her grandmother said, I'll whoop the Mexican off of you.
Yeah. Veronica, big supporter, team Banky fan.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to TV.
Rashad is funny. I'm not going to say that when y'all see what he said.
Yeah.
But, we do end up in a scenario where you're like a dog chasing its tail, because life is a parable that if you don't fully understand it before you head out the house, you'll be constantly doing things that lead you back home.
Absolutely.
Now, when did you start to separate yourself from that which your mother might have intended for you to do?
When I got to running around with a dude, man, that I won't say his name, but I got to run around with another dude, man, when I was in high school, and we got to doing things that we ain't had no business doing. I'm listening to him too, thinking that he know more than what I know, and not listening to the people who really cared about me. And I got out there, man, and I was doing things, man, that was wrong, man. I was into robbery, man, and trying to take people money that didn't, belong to me, And once I got into that and got away with it, I felt, like, oh, well, this is all it takes. Nobody's getting hurt, nobody's getting harmed. This is all it takes, and you can get money, which was totally the wrong thing. But like I said, not knowing the consequences behind that. And see, people don't know that now. You can go and rob somebody and don't even hurt them at all and go to prison for 30, 40 years.
That's right.
So I don't think young people know that, because they listen to their buddies on the street and think that this is not wrong. I mean, you ain't hurting nobody, but you are hurting somebody. You got people out there that's working for everything they got, and then someone comes and try to take it. That is hurting somebody.
How did you get a gun? We think young kids can't get their hands on no guns.
Oh, well, even way back then in the day, the easiest was to get a gun was the friend that I was with. His father or his stepfather had a gun. So he just take the stepfather's gun, So, and then what was even more dangerous about this situation when I first got involved with it, what was really more dangerous, because like I say, the young mind you don't know, was we out here trying to take people's money and stuff with a gun with no bullets in it. So we literally could have died at any given point. All we had to do was run across somebody that actually had a gun with bullets in it. But like I say, when you're young and you're doing these type of things, you misled, you misinformed. And I was, and I had the right people telling me what to do. I had the right people in my ear. I just was not listening to the right people. I was listening to the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Did you not grasp the value of life? Did you think that robbing people was funny?
I wouldn't say I thought it was funny. I would say I was greedy. I was thinking about me. I was selfish. I was thinking about what I wanted, not what I was taking from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
See,
is there anything that now in retrospect, they say hindsight is 2020. That's another classic. Is there anything that you think could have stopped you back then? And the reason why I ask that is because we got young kids out here. We got young people, family members included, who they might have a gun on them right now. They might be robbing somebody tonight.
Right.
And we often wonder, what should I be saying to this young person? What should I be doing or saying in their life to get them to either put the gun down or to take a different path? what could someone have done for you?
I think they could have done for me what's being done right now. I think someone could have simply sit down and actually explain to me the danger in what I was doing, the danger in what it is to go out there and to ever even pick up a gun. To me, like I say, I know you got a lot of people out there that will holler about the gun rights, this, that, and the third, and everybody got their own opinion. But to me, I just don't see no purpose for a gun. I just don't see a purpose for it because, like I say, even like in prison, when you have a weapon, then you're more apt to use a weapon. If you don't have a weapon, it's impossible for you to use it, so that eliminates the whole situation. But I believe that I could have been told, or I could have seen an example or been given an example verbally where someone could have explained to me, listen, this right here can cost you the rest of your life, or this can cost you your life. I don't think I understood that, in the back of my mind or in the front of my mind. I don't think I understood that fully, the dangers of the games that I was playing. I didn't understand that. And I believe that, like I say, you can verbally express yourself to someone to make them understand. If you set someone down, like I believe 16, 15, 16, 17 years old, and let them know, man, do you know that picking up a gun and just taking something from somebody, you could go to prison for 30, 40 years. I just don't believe a person of 16, 17, 18, 19 years old with common sense would still make that choice if he know that. But a lot of people are actually doing it. And actually, like you said, picking up a gun and robbing somebody and thinking because they're not shooting them or hurting them, they're all right. But I don't think they actually know you can actually go to prison for the rest of your life for that act alone.
Do we need, I know you mentioned that your father wasn't there. Do we need a man to literally intervene in your life, grab you by the arm, take you to his place for a few weeks and help you to get your mind right? Do we need a physical intervention?
I believe it would help. I don't think it's actually needed. I think mothers out there do a wonderful job, man. It's millions of us been raised by single mothers, man, and they have did brilliant jobs, man, and they have did their due diligence in trying to guide us in the right path. It's just us, man. Everything starts with self. Even when you're young, it starts with self. You have to be able to receive this information in order to process it. You got to be able to receive it. People is giving your mother, you can just look at her. All these mothers that be working and taking care of 2 and 3 kids by themselves, and you see them going to work every day to do this. They're not doing nothing illegal. They're not doing nothing wrong. So that's a prime example right there in front of your face. We just choose not to receive that example. We go out in the street and try to look at what the next dude doing and what he's got, and we're not realizing that that our parents is in the house is working and doing everything that they can to provide for us. And this cat is out there taking away from people just like the people that living under and off of. Mm-hmm. But we don't see that. We're too blind to see that. That's why I say open dialogue. We need to have more open dialogue with our kids, man. We need to tell them exactly what needs to be said. Like I said, don't just tell them don't do this. Tell them why not to do it. Don't just tell them to go and pursue this. Tell them what's at the end of it. Don't tell them don't do this, because let them know what's at the end of that as well.
Jail and death.
Yeah.
I want to continue to get out in front of this issue right here. We have a very pressing issue in our communities clear across America of young people going into prison. We lost so many years of your life in a prison system while the rest of us were out in the community. Who knows what value you could have added if something could have changed your trajectory. Now, you still landed on your feet and you're still doing positive things today. But I want to hone in on this part right here. Maybe we need to assume that there is something in our children that needs to be exercised out through physical fitness, mental fitness, emotional fitness, and ongoing programming. It just can't be that as a parent, I'm telling you yes and no as time goes on. It must be that I'm putting you through a refining process as your parent. I'm refining you because I know that there might be something in you. Look at our trauma. We've got hundreds of years of trauma. in our blood, which has impacted our DNA, which has then impacted our genetic expression. For all I know, for me, for you, for anybody, for all I know, you might be behaving like a pirate. I don't know. You're just a cute young man. You're a handsome young man. You might be behaving like a pirate. We have to gain a system of refinement in our children's lives. Parenting equals refinement. Parents need to make information apparent.
Absolutely.
Make the guidelines apparent, because nobody can guarantee that you're a flawless gem. Nobody can guarantee, as we say, here's another classic, nobody's perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's assume that nobody's perfect, and each and every one of us has a flaw that needs to be exercised out. You look at successful communities, successful zip codes, they're full of programs for your kids from the time they are born. Do you know? I've seen videos out there of people taking a newborn baby and dropping them in a swimming pool, swimming lessons.
I have too. And if you look at the whole world, look at mostly everybody, let's just say successful in the entertainment business, either in sports or either in movies or whatever, is generational. And that's not by coincidence, that's by design. It's generational. It's, you got the Mannings in football, you got the Mayweathers in boxing, you got the Bryants in basketball. Everybody comes from the generation. You go to the movies, you got the Douglases, they got generations of family. You got all of them. How is it just automatic that they become successful as if like they're forefathers and people? Because it's bred inside of them.
Great point.
It's taught from them from the beginning. Like you say, they throwing them in the water to swim. They're teaching them from the beginning. We have to start doing that in our communities. We have to start teaching greatness. We have to start preaching greatness. We have to start being the example of greatness. We have to put them in front of, self-help videos, history videos, and let them see that. Take them away from the computers all the time, the internet and the things that they're playing with, and let them get some type of history in them too, some type of knowledge in them, so they can know where they come from. They can know where they can go. They can know the greatness that's inside of them. A lot of us is not taught when we're young that we can be great. But a lot of these people that I just mentioned at first, they're taught that they can be great off of the gate because their parents was already great. Oh, my father was already an NBA player, so I definitely can do it. My father was a world champion boxer. I can do it. That's See, right. we need to set those examples ourselves. Even though we may not be that, we need to let our children know that they can be that.
Exactly. So this is a victorious moment for us, our families, and our viewers. Let's establish traditions that refine our children, traditions that refine us.
Right.
So that we affect their natural expression. So that maybe not right now, not today, because we're just talking about it today, but in the future, we'll begin to have children who is not going to be born a pirate. Yeah. He's going to be born the captain of a ship.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
We are already on to a very valuable discussion today. I want to thank each and every person who's here, and we're going to be right back with more from Banky Pound after this brief message. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator. Hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. Banky, how you feeling out there?
I'm feeling good, man. Yourself?
I'm feeling quite well. So yeah, right back into the story.
Yes, sir.
Now, to give people an understanding of the magnitude of your journey, you actually went to jail for a long time.
Yeah, I actually went to prison when I was 19, getting ready to turn 20. By the time I was 20, I think I was already in prison. And I actually stayed in prison, man, for 33 years, 33 long years.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You said you went to prison for 33 years?
33 years, man. 33 years. I went into prison in 1987, and I just got out in 2020.
Welcome home.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome home, Banky Pound.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, drop some likes, some hearts, some support in the chat. This man completed 33 years in prison. People were born and died in that time frame.
Absolutely. World changed. World changed in that time frame.
The world changed in that time frame. We have a lot of members of our community who go to prison, and when they get big numbers, this will be what they would consider a football score.
Yeah.
We think this person's life is over.
Yeah.
People are in prison for 20 years. They say, oh, you might as well have life.
Yeah.
Let alone 30 years. Oh, you got life. Ladies and gentlemen, put some likes and hearts in the chat because we're looking at a warrior here today. We're looking at a soldier. We're looking at somebody who, one way or another, lined his life up with righteousness. There's no way he could be here with us today. I have a brother who's in jail right now for 20 to 40 years.
Mm.
Before I came to know your story, Banky Pound, I was also thinking my brother has almost an insurmountable challenge in front of him.
All right.
20 to 40 years. I don't know anybody who's done that amount of time.
You do now?
You completed 33 years in prison. How did you make it out? How did you make it through? Before we get to out, how did you make it through? How did you first? Let's do this. Let me calm down. What were the phases that you went through over the course of that 33 years?
Oh man, I think the first phase was disbelief. You know, disbelief. When you are facing that much time, I can only speak for me. I just don't think nobody else, but I'm speaking for myself. You think it's an impossibility that you can do that much time. First of all, it's more time than the actual chronological age that you are.
Right.
I wasn't even that old to say that, you know, so that means that everything that I had seen and experienced in my lifetime to that point, I would be in prison that times two. Mm-hmm. So that's inconceivable in itself. So it was overwhelming to me. I had never been locked up before, you know. Mm-hmm. So to go in there and knowing that I had such a long time to do with even the possibility of not even getting out at all, that was not even guaranteed that I would get out. So I could have never told you from the beginning, Mr. Riley, that I would have made it through, because I didn't think I would. I truly didn't in the beginning, because like I said, the odds were so great, and the change of atmosphere is unbelievable, you know. So you're looking at it's like prison is like a microcosm, man. It's like a different world within this world. It's rules and things and ways that people live in there that doesn't even apply to this outside world. So I was in a whole new world. I was young. I had to adapt, adjust, and cope with everything that was going on. And I could not see 33 years down the line. I couldn't see it. You know, by the grace of God, I got through it, man, one day at a time. I got through it. And I just kept pushing forward in every stage. And like I say, the first stage to me was just disbelief. And then, once I got over that, I think I got into survival stage.
Okay.
Whereas to now, I got to learn how to survive in here, if I want to live. And a lot of times when you facing that much time and you facing those consequences, that crosses your mind as well, as it did mine. I may not want to live because I may not want to wake up and face this every day for 10, 20, 30 years. I may not want to because the situation was just that bad in there coming from real society. So I was thinking that.
When you say bad, are you talking about unclean drinking water, dirty mattresses, facility, people? What do you mean when you say it was just that bad? Talk about it.
All the above. All the above. The people in prison, and they get the lowest grade of food possible, the lowest grade of water. They treat it like subhumans. You look through, you look over, you look under. You're not considered a human being. Your voice is unheard. You this is by just the staff alone. Then your fellow man, your brother man, your other convicts around you, they dealing with their own struggle. They dealing with their own loss of freedom. They dealing with their own situation. So they care nothing about you as well. So you are actually in a hate factory. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you are. Then you have to go into survival mode because there is no love for you in there, none whatsoever.
Wow.
So that's just how it is, man. It's a sad but true reality. And like I say, a lot of people that's in there, they don't fully express this too, like we were saying about talking. They don't fully express this to their family because of the situation that they're in. A lot of times because they don't want their family to worry. They don't want their family to be burdened with just sitting out there worrying about them or whatever. And then a lot of times, man, it's such a contrast to what life is like out here. When you tell people, they can't really believe it. They think you embellishing or they think you putting on. But trust me when I tell you, it's like that in there. And I had to experience that. And I didn't tell my family a lot of times too, because it was like, I don't even want them to even think that I'm having to live like this or having to survive like this, because you're not living. That's what you're doing. You're surviving when you're in prison. You're not living, and yeah, man, I had to get into that mode right there, man. And it was a lot of times, like I said, that more times than I care to count, that I didn't think I would make it, but I just kept pushing forward, man. And the love of family, man, and the love of me, loving them back and wanting to one day get out here with them, that just kept me going. Every day I had to wake up with the will to live, man. With the will to live.
How did the love of your family impact you while you were in there? And what were they doing? Were they writing letters, visiting, sending you money, all the above? And did you ever get to the point where it was like, I'm living a totally different life in here. Y'all don't have to communicate with me so much?
I never got to that point.
Okay.
I never got to that point. If I would have got to that point where I didn't need them or I didn't feel like I needed them, I honestly believe I would have got to the point where I would have been living like I didn't want to live. Because you got a lot of people in prison, they're living like it ain't no tomorrow.
Right.
They actually live like it's no tomorrow. They may have 3, 4, 5 life sentences and without parole. And they actually live like that. Like anytime, anything can set them off because they like, what I got to lose.
How did you keep control, or not rather control? How did you keep a hold of your real true self? How did you compartmentalize it and keep it?
Very difficult. Very difficult. If it was one formula I could tell you, I would. I couldn't. I prayed a lot, man. I prayed a lot. I believe I was being prayed for a lot. I had a praying mother, a praying family. I believe I was being prayed for a lot. And like I say, it's a daily decision, man. You have to wake up daily and say, man, I'm gonna make it through this day. I'm gonna make it through this day. I'm not gonna let nobody stop me from making it through this day. I'm not gonna let nobody take that away from me. And like I say, it's a vicious world because you not only have to you not only have to be willing to survive, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to survive. And sometimes that details a whole lot, because people don't respect humbleness in prison. They just don't. They don't respect humbleness. They don't respect positivity, positive energy. They just don't respect it. Only thing they respect in there is violence. Only thing they respect in there is the fact that you can stop them from taking your stuff. You can stop them from hurting you. Anything other than that, they don't respect it. You could be the most humble person in the world in there, and they gonna come in there and try to take advantage of you. So you have to be able to defend yourself. And like I say, that's a double-edged sword, because then you do that, you're in trouble as well.
Right.
If you don't do it, then your life is on the line. So it's a balance, man. It's like I say, I don't wish it on anybody. That's why I would talk until I ain't got no breath left, to try to stop anybody from going down that road, anybody from putting themselves in that position. Because like I say, it's just the lowest form that I believe is the lowest form that you could be on above ground, is to not have your freedom.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about grit, toughness, resilience. What were some of the things? I know you mentioned that you read the Bible. Did you also work out? Did you lift weights, push-ups? What did your workout look like?
I used to box while I was in prison. I got into that because I did some of that before I went in. So I got into boxing, man. It was a way to stay in shape. It was a way to stay ready, so I ain't had to get ready. It was a way to also, get out some of my frustrations, get out some of my anger, you know what I'm saying, to release all of that energy that was, clogged up inside of me. So boxing played a big portion of me, expressing myself and getting my energy out, man. And as well, I worked out. You had to work out to be able to get into the ring. So I worked out a lot. So even when they took the boxing system out of prison, I continued to work out a lot. I worked out every day. And when I got a lot of things on my mind, I work out. It tended to relieve my stress, So working out played a big role in me maintaining my sanity in it. That's one thing that people don't give enough respect to as well. You think you go in prison and this, you have to every day to maintain your sanity, man. I've seen so many people go in there that's coherent and sane, and I run into them 4 or 5 years down the line somewhere else, man, and they're just a totally different person, man, not even functional, because of all the stress on your brain, all the stress of the life that you have to live. People literally lose their mind in there, on a regular. And that was one of the hardest things to do, as well as staying in physical shape, is to stay in mental shape, where you didn't lock it in your brain that this is it for me. This is how I'm gonna live for the rest of my life. And once you settle in that, you have to keep feeding yourself hope. You have to keep feeding yourself positivity, like it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And you keep going, trying to make parole, trying to get out every year. Every year you get setback, but you just have to still tell yourself, well, maybe next year. Well, maybe
how many times were you denied parole?
I think I was denied 15. So that's like 15 years that I had an opportunity to get out, but was told no.
You were told no 15 years in a row?
15 in a row. 15 in a row. And when you get told no so many times like that, and every year you get told no, and then the following year your situation is even better. You even have a better record. You even have a better situation. You even have more accomplishments, more goals met, and they still tell you no. In your mind, you're like, well, what can I do? There's nothing that I can do that y'all is going to accept. So you have to fight that mentally every day too. Like, don't get down on and say, well, I'm not going to make it. They're not going to give it to me. You had to continually feed your mind and say, well, I'm just going to try to do more of this time. I'm going to try to do more of that, or I'm going to make it next year. And I literally had to tell myself that every year for 15 years.
So you began coaching yourself. And I'm taking that as a direct commentary on life that everybody can take and apply. We got 400,000 youth in a foster care system today. We have people clear across the country impacted by COVID-19 this year. And what we've got to do, just like you're saying, is speak positively to ourselves. We've got to coach ourselves through and not be broken. That's one thing I really like about your story and your countenance and your poise is that you were not broken.
Yeah, I refuse to be broken. I had weak points. I had points where I felt, you know what I'm saying, that I was being beaten up. And I was not gonna make it. But I had to just keep telling myself that I was. I had to keep telling myself that I was gonna make it, that I was strong enough to make it, that I had people counting on me to make it, to get out here. So I believe self-motivation is the greatest motivation. No one can motivate you greater than yourself. You know, it starts with self. Everything starts with self. So I coach myself. I preach to myself, and the energy that I elude on, then that other people follow. I believe you teach people how to treat you. If I treat myself like a king, if I treat myself with respect, if I treat myself with love, then other people will follow suit.
That's absolutely correct. Now, after the survival phase, what phase would you say was next after that?
Then I got into, me personally, I got into the phase of trying to better myself, then embetterment. I tried to learn more. I tried to educate myself. I started reading books. I started trying to take courses, take classes to occupy my time. You know, I became a barber. I took up graphic design. I took up brick mason. You know, I was just taking classes because I hadn't got to that stage yet where I could just take these classes and educate myself, because I was still dealing with all the other transitions. So once I had settled in and I knew that, well, this is life. This is what I got to do. I can't change it. You can't call for help. You can't, it's nothing. When you're there, you're there. And you have to deal with that reality. So once I came to the conclusion that this is my reality, this is how I'm going to live, then I said, well, I got to try to do something.
Make the best of it.
Yeah, I started trying to take classes. I started trying to learn, even if I not knowing you're gonna get out, not knowing if you ever gonna be able to apply these skills. So I just started doing it. I became a barber. I was a long-time barber in prison. I cut hair almost everywhere I went, you know. So I did that. That occupied my time. I stayed working out. You know, I stayed reading. I started reading. I never would have. I never. I'm almost sure I never read a whole book before I went to prison. You know. Now I've read thousands of books. So it's just you will become so mundane in everyday life in there. It's like Groundhog Day every day, you know, that you will have to start doing different things. You will have to challenge yourself in order to keep your sanity.
Right.
Because if not, you will lose your mind just by the monotony of life in there. Mm-hmm. Every day you wake up, there's nothing different. Everything's going to be the same. You're going to count every day the same. You're going to go eat. You're going to be out of your cell the same amount of time every day. And there's nothing going to change. It's like routine to them. Only thing changes is them people that's coming in that have a uniform on. Other than that, everything is going to be the same.
Did you begin to envision what you would do with your life if you ever got your freedom back?
All the time. You start doing that from day one.
Right.
You know, from day one, it gets greater as the years go by, and it's which is crazy, because as the years go by, you learn to respect freedom more. You learn to appreciate it more. You know, it's like one of the things that we used to say. A lot of people used to say, you get out of here, the problems that you have out here is nothing compared to the problem. These like good problems, you know, compared to the problems that you have in there. You know, because no matter what's going on out here, and we all stumble, we all fall, we all make mistakes. We human. That's what makes us human. You're not going to be flawless, period. Everybody's going to make mistakes, but you have an opportunity to correct your mistakes out here. You have an opportunity every day. I heard you say something about choices, or I was reading some of your promos about choices, and I say too, it's like I heard it or read it somewhere that every day you wake up with two things every day. That's a chance and a choice.
That's right.
Every day you wake up, you have a chance and a choice. It's what you do with that chances and the choices that you make that will determine how your life turn out, or how your day turn out, or how your future turn out. So you wake up with those two things every day: the good, the bad, the poor, the rich. Everybody wake up with a chance and a choice every day. You know what I'm saying? And we just have to make the best of it. And like that's what I say, we're going to make mistakes, but you out here, you have an opportunity every day to try to make the best of your life. If you're homeless out here, you have an opportunity to go try to find a job. You have an opportunity to get up tomorrow and make something happen for yourself. Those opportunities are not there in prison. No matter what's going on, you wake up every day, you're faced with the same situation until somebody says that your date is here, you're getting out, or okay, we're giving you parole, or okay, it's time for you to leave. Until then, your situation is not going to change no matter what happens. And that's
Absolutely.
something you have to sink in your head and deal with. And until you understand that, then you're going to be just stuck like on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere.
What would you like to say to the young men and women out there today who are facing forks in the road and they haven't quite been placed in a penitentiary yet, but they need a word from you? What would you say to them today, briefly?
I would say to them, man, no matter what your situation look like, no matter what you think you can obtain or what you think you can gain from doing something this against the law or doing something that's foul, I would beg you, I would plead with you to sit down with yourself in a room by yourself, not listening to anybody but yourself, and ask yourself, is what you doing going to get you closer to where you want to be in life or further away from it? And if that answer is further away, and that's always the answer when you're trying to do something illegal, that's the answer. You don't want to do it. Whatever you want in life, man, you can find a way to get it without putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be locked up or you're going to be dead or you're going to be shot or you're going to be in peril. It's always a better way, always a better way. And I'm telling each and every one of y'all out there now that's listening, especially you young dudes out there, prison is not no place you want to be, ever.
Tell
Ever in life is no place you want to be. And anybody who's telling you to do something that may land you in prison, anybody who's telling you to come with them and help them do something that may land you in prison, that ain't a person that you want to be around ever in life. You want to go the opposite way that they going. Whichever way they going, you want to go the opposite way.
You know, we are rounding third base, but I just got a couple more questions for you. A lot of times when we think, and some people talk, not me, some people talk about folks who've been in jail for a long time. You know, they all have this image of toxic masculinity. This person is toxic. Their masculinity is not good for anybody. What are your thoughts on manhood today?
Manhood today is, like I say, I define a man by someone who's standing on their own 10 toes, man, and they're doing whatever they got to do to survive. It's legal. They're trying to make their situation better. They're trying to better themselves every day. If you're getting up and you're going to work every day, or you're trying to find a job, or you're trying to do something, then I respect that. I briefly ran into a little young dude the other day, and he was out there asking for money. And he was 17 years old, and he said he's been in foster care all of his life since he was 7 years old. But he saw me going in the store, and he asked me for some money. And he said because he was hungry. You know, I eventually took him in the store and bought him something to eat, but I also had a conversation with him. In the conversation I had with him, I told him that I respect him for asking for money. I told him not to feel ashamed for asking for money, because I respect that more than him going and bust somebody in the head and taking somebody's money, for him going picking up a gun and robbing somebody, for him putting himself in a position where he was going to lose the rest of his life and mess up somebody else's life because he had too much pride to ask somebody for some money. You know,
Absolutely.
That's manhood. You know, at 17, that was manhood to me, because he had enough pride to ask for something instead of going and trying to take it. And that's when I say, when you at the fork of the road, I applauded him. That's why I tried to help him as much as I could. I bought him something to eat, and I gave him the money that was in my pocket.
Oh,
but that's manhood.
Absolutely. How many, if you can recall, did you meet a lot of people who were in foster care in jail? How many people did you meet in jail that mentioned foster care?
I met quite a few. Man. They grew up in foster care, or they grew up, you know what I'm saying, going through foster homes all of their life, you know, and going through the juvenile system all of their life. And then I just believe it becomes a pattern. Once they get into that pattern in life, if don't nothing change or don't nobody change them, then they continue to do it. I read a piece of philosophy a long time ago when I first started reading philosophy, and I think it holds a lot of truth to me. And it says two things will change a person's life in every 5-year span. Two things are the major things that change a person's path in life in a 5-year span, and that is the books you read and the company you keep.
Wow.
So if you hang around people that's doing wrong, you're eventually going to be doing wrong. And you can read a book, and that book that you read pertaining to what it contains can change your course in life.
You know,
so I believe
we are at the end of the show right now, but I want to know, how can people get in touch with you if they want to bring you in to speak, hire you to consult, or bring you in? How can people contact you? Where can people find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram at Banky Pound on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I got a channel. It's Banky Pound channel. Y'all come over there, and we only preach positivity. We got a motto over there. We feed the positive, but we starve the negative. So if you got any negativity, you can just keep it, and we're just going to pray for you over there, because we just got all positive energy. And I'm also on Facebook, Banky Space Pound. So you can reach me at any one of them platforms. And if you got anything positive to talk about or anything inspiring or uplifting, we open for conversation.
Banky Pound, I want to let you know that I've listened to your story today. I was deeply impacted by not only your epic story, but your triumph through it. This will always be a home for you to stop by and bring a positive message. We're going to give you your respect today while you're still living. Thank God you're still living. We're also going to give you a crown today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crowns in the chat. I'm going to drop some crowns in the chat as well. Give this man his crowns while he's still living. So we're going to give you a crown today. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Banky Pound, are America's next motivator.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. I'll come back anytime. I appreciate you, man. I think you're doing a wonderful thing. You have a wonderful platform. I think you're an outstanding young brother, and I wish you nothing but success. And I'm always here whenever you need me.
Yes, sir. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
Thank you, brother. Y'all peace out there. Team Banky Pound. Love y'all.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. He had one more thing to say. Let's see if we can get him to say it. What'd you say?
Be smart, be safe, and make good decisions.
All right. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.